Nancy Anderson and Scott Edwards. So thought you could please and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. You little rascal, you. Nancy, I'll start with you because you are a little rascal, aren't you? Where are you from, Nancy?
Well, I was born in Edgewood, Maryland, but I just lived there for a few weeks, and then I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, and since then I've lived in Alabama and Georgia. North Carolina.
How old are you all, Nancy?
I'm 39.
Well, you're 39. Well, you sure don't look it.
Well, thank you.
And you're Scott Edwards? Where are you from?
I'm from Springfield, Mass. originally.
Oh, Springfield, Mass. Now, was this early Mass? Now, how long did you stay in Massachusetts?
Well, I left there when I was ready to go to college. Went 2 years at Cornell, and then I had to go in the Army during the war.
Why?
Well,
you were crazy to go. Don't let him get away with that.
I couldn't convince them otherwise. I was in the Army for about 2 years, and then following that, I finished my bachelor's degree at Cornell. And then I went a year at Yale for my master's degree. And following that, I had a Fulbright fellowship in France. And then after that, I went back to Cornell for a couple of years to finish my doctorate.
Well, you have an impressive scholastic background, Scott. I think it shows clearly the length some people will go to avoid work. Or as we call it, work. Now, what kind of work do you do, Scott?
Groucho, I'm in the technical sales department of Atomics International Division of North American Aviation.
Well, any job that has a title that long is usually short on pay. Actually, what do you do? Do you sell atomic bombs from house to house?
No, in fact, I should make it rather emphatic that our work is strictly non-military.
I always like to help a struggling and worthwhile young salesman. How much do they cost?
Well, a complete installation will go from $100,000 up to several million.
No, I don't mean never mind the total cost. I mean, how much would it be a month?
Well, I don't know.
If I can get it by the month, I'll take one. That is, if you give me trading stamps. Nancy, I notice you have a decided northern accent. How long have you been in Southern California?
Well, I've been here for 3 years, but I've lost most of my accent.
How does the city of the Angels compare with your city of the Dodgers, I mean? Compare with your home down south. Which do you prefer?
You want me to tell you the truth?
I certainly do.
Well,
we don't have
I
anybody.
much prefer the South.
You do? And
Yes.
is that why you're up here? Somebody up in the North Pole, I think. Why do you prefer the South?
Well, I don't like the traffic and the smog, and I don't like...
Don't you think he's cute?
He's real cute.
Well, he's in the North.
I don't like the general attitude as well either. I think about the first day I was here, I went into a grocery store, and on the wall they've got signs, pickpockets will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and absolutely no checks cashed, and forging checks is a felony, and you will be arrested. And this store is protected by the Eagle Eye Detective Agency, and where I come from, they have signs that say, through these doors pass the finest people in the world, our customers.
But you must remember that we have a lot of crooks in Los Angeles.
That's what I mean.
Scott, let's get back to you. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
How old are you?
33.
And you're not married yet?
No.
Well, how is it a handsome, bright young fellow like you isn't married yet?
Well, I guess the right girl never came along, Groucho.
Oh. Just what do you consider the right girl?
Oh, I'd like for her to be stimulating intellectually and emotionally. And that about sums it up, I guess.
Well, what do you... I like the brief way he dismisses this whole thing. Well, at the moment, you have no girl, huh?
No one in particular at the moment, Groucho.
Well, perhaps you're doing something wrong. Just what do you do when you have a date with a pretty girl?
Well...
I mean, why don't you lie down and tell old Dr. Hackenbush all about it? It's only $30 an hour.
Well, actually, I have an apartment down at the beach at Malibu, and when the moon is on the water and the surf is nice, and we have a little pleasant music in the background and a little martini, it can be quite effective.
Well, it sounds very romantic. How do you fix your martinis?
Well, I mix 5 to 1.
5 to 1. Well, those are pretty good odds. Now, let me get this straight. You put in 5 pods gin to 1 pod vermouth?
That's right.
Well, what do you need the moonlight and the music for? Well, it's been a very pleasant experience talking to the North and the South simultaneously. And now let's get down to business and see how much money you can win. And I think it would be wise if you said no more about that tomato surprise you're operating down at the beach. Now, you have selected from our list of 371 categories the foreign words and phrases. All of the following are foreign words or phrases used in everyday speech. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Now, what are the Latin words that collegians use to indicate the college which they attended?
The alma mater.
Alma mater is right, yeah?
You now have one right.
What is the French phrase that means appetizers served before a meal?
Hors d'oeuvre.
That's right. I thought it was ooh la la.
You now have 2 right, 2 more right, and you'll have $1,000.
What is the French phrase that means out of action? Well, it's hors de combat.
Well, now,
You should know that.
we have 1 wrong now. If you get the next one wrong, the game is over for
Now,
you.
what do the French words mal de mer mean?
Seasickness.
Yes, I'm rather you said it rather than
You have 1 right.
What is the Latin phrase that means my other self or bosom friend?
Alter ego.
That's right, alter ego.
2 right.
Now, what is the German phrase that means till we meet again?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen is absolutely right.
You now have 3 right, get the next one right, and you'll have $1,000.
What is the French, no, what is the French phrase that means seek the woman?
Cherchez la femme.
Cherchez la femme is right.
And you got 4 in a row, so you win $1,000.
Now, you've won $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a chance at $10,000. So why don't you go over there and sit down and think about it, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Groucho, we have a couple of sisters ready to meet you.